Welcome in today's Know the Law segment. Tom Sinas from Sinas Dramis Law Firm joining us as he does every week here. If your loved one's in a car crash, you're going to learn about a case manager. Is that right, Tom? Who are they and what role do they play?
Yes, these are people who do and can play a really important role in helping people after a car accident.
Okay.
They also exist in the workers' compensation system. But if you've never had an accident, you may have never heard of the phrase case manager.
Sure.
What is a case manager? You may have encountered people like this in a hospital
Right.
setting, but when you're out of the hospital, it's a different story. So
Okay.
who are these people typically? Sure. Well, typically by training, they are either nurses or therapists,
Okay.
have some training in the medical field, and are then working with people who have been in accidents to help them manage and coordinate their medical care needs. It's not uncommon for someone to have been involved in a serious accident and now all of a sudden they have a variety of medical care needs from a variety of disciplines of medicine that they've never interacted with
Sure.
before. You may not know that you need certain care with a particular kind of specialist because you may not know that that specialist exists or what they do. So what a case manager can help you do is really help coordinate all that care and kind of be like the quarterback of
Sure.
the healthcare team. And they really can be an invaluable asset for people who are trying to manage their way through their recovery. So who should you work with? Well, it's kind of like anything else. You should work with someone who you've researched, who you have a confidence level in as a professional, and who you have a good relationship with. One very important point to remember is that under the Michigan No Fault Act, you have the right to choose your own case manager. Oftentimes, insurance companies will assign a case manager to a person's case without telling the injured person that they have the right to choose someone of their own. Now, it isn't to say that the person from the insurance company is necessarily bad, but what it is important to do is that you make the educated decision about who you want to work with.
Okay.
And usually, that means at least interviewing more than one person, learning about who they work for. Do they work for a company? Do they work independently? What is their background? How did they get involved in the business? And do you think that they will be a good personality fit for you and your family? Because you're going to have a lot of interaction with this person. So do your homework before you decide to work with a case manager. Don't just jump into it. The other point to remember is case managers are not supposed to serve as a gatekeeper role.
Okay.
They're not supposed to be the ones who tell the injured person whether they can or cannot get certain services. And sometimes it can happen where people are led to believe the opposite. Really what they're supposed to be doing is acting as a liaison between the injured person and the insurance company. And so you also want a case manager who has a good relationship with the insurance company, but is also an advocate for someone who has been injured.
Sure.
And so when you get to that point in your recovery, it's important to just research, identify, think critically, and understand that you have certain rights here when it comes to your case managers, just like you have those rights when it comes to any of your other medical providers.
Sure. Pretty much any car crash that requires some injuries, that's when you're going to expect to get a case manager? Is that when it works?
Yes. Generally speaking, the more complicated the injuries, the greater the need for a case manager. It's always good practice to ask yourself or ask your lawyer or ask whomever you may be working with, even your insurance adjuster, do I need a case manager? And if so, how do I get that process started? Sure. It certainly is something always worth exploring.
And of course, if people have more questions, it's certainly a stressful time getting in a crash. Not only you need your car, but if you get injured, a lot of emotions going on. They can reach out to you guys to learn more about it.
Sure. They can call us 616-301-3333. You can find us online at www.sinasdramis.com. or shoot us an email at info@sinasdramis.com.
Good info as always. Thank you, Tom.
Thanks for having me.